Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How you doing? It's Rusty from Porky's Corner. 2 hours after my vaccine jab, part one in Mansfield. I'm home safe for all you people that were worried about me. I just want to say thank you to all you members who've joined the channel. A little treat for you this week. You're going to get helmets of the month a day before everybody else. That's because you're paying every month, aren't you? So a little perk for you. And you're close to getting your 10 videos a month. So everything's on track. And I want to thank everybody for liking and subscribing and sharing my videos. Now, today I'm joined by my good friend Simon. He's a regular contributor on the channel. How are you doing, Simon? You okay?
Yeah, staying away from the protests going on in central Bristol tonight.
The protest?
More,
wow.
Yeah, that police bill protest is going on again. So I don't know if you saw it last week. A police riot van got burnt out and they smashed a few bits of glass in the front of the central Bristol police station. So the protest is going on tonight. It's all about the protest bill that's trying to be put through by the government. Quite a lot of people are against that.
Are you against Simon?
In principle, yes.
Yeah.
What I was against is the course of action that happened last weekend, though, because one or two people went really overboard with proceedings.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, what will happen is it won't be these individuals that pay the price. It'll be put onto the taxpayer to pay for the costs of all this activity last weekend. So these lot will probably just walk away with a bit of community service, and you'll get 2 or 3% more on your council tax in the coming years. So that's how it will
damage.
Yeah, that's how it'll pan out.
Yeah,
but yeah, you've had your vaccine then, mate. So
yeah.
I've been talking about lockdowns, vaccine, and COVID. I've been working from home now for over a year. So this is like pretty much my my COVID working from home type anniversary this week. Obviously different times for everyone, so it's kind of this may not have happened for me because of COVID, spending time at home also and engaging with the channel. So it's been great to get involved, and the feedback from people who watch the channel and involved with the channel has been really great and encouraging. So thanks to everyone involved and everyone who supports me and the work that's done by the channel. It's great stuff.
Thank you very much. I've put a lot of effort in. It's probably one of the only things I've ever put a lot of effort in. Probably that and getting out of my face 25 years. But other than that, I've really stuck at it. I'm surprised myself at times when I look where we are, because I started off, I did them in Dennis's office at the beginning, and then I used to do them mainly at home, or I'd go outside, do them in my shed or in car or something. And it sort of took on a life of itself on it. And I think we're close to 5,000 a month now. If you add it all videos I've done this month, divide it by what the total is, it's about 5,000 now. So I'm right.
Well, I think
happy.
I like the off the cuff ones in the car from time to time. I think they work.
Yeah, when you bike, you think on your feet, don't you? I think
the choice of music is often right up my street with the 90s hip hop stuff. So good stuff.
We don't get me £2.50 for video if you put a song
on. No, that's the only problem with this.
The money goes to Death Row Records.
The modern tech is a bit too sharp for that.
Well, people keep emailing me saying, I've reported you for copyright. I said, no offense, but as soon as the video's uploaded, the copyright kicks in straight away. So all these people that think they're grassing me up for it, they might do, but I already know about it anyway. We can put free music on, but I put whatever songs on in my car, and I'm not stuck for £3 for a video. So it don't really matter to me, but if it lets them feel better about themselves, so be it. But the equipment that they use, YouTube, is the same as what Homeland Security use. You know, where they ran that plane, the terrorist in America, Pentagon. It's on that level, isn't it? What YouTube uses, it's that precise. You know what I mean? If there's a song and there's more than 3 seconds of that song, it picks it up and it tells you what song, and then it zooms straight in on who owns the rights to it. So your £3 goes to them. But that doesn't bother me. It's just that if I want to put a nice song on that channel, or usually I shut it down after a few seconds, but it's no big deal. But yeah, I'm glad you like 90s hip hop stuff. I do.
Yeah, for sure. Both the East Coast stuff and the West Coast stuff, and
I do.
some of the European and British stuff as well. So
yeah. Okay then. Are you near Bath then?
yeah, it's about 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's quite expensive to live around there, isn't it?
Bath is. They've now done a bit of a mini London as well with the travel restrictions on the centre.
Have they?
Yeah, so any sort of high emission vehicles are going to be getting charged to go in there.
Is that what it is? Well, somebody told me who lives in London that we're going to do that in Sheffield and Birmingham and Leeds and Liverpool. In the next 5 years. So
I think it's a bit too soon because you're punishing business owners and stuff whilst we're still in these tight times financially.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? All these small businesses that are needing goods and things delivered, they're going to feel the pinch, not the bigger companies.
Yeah. Okay. All right then. Let's roll on. Now, I want to make a point before we go on into the deep stuff. Shannon Courtenay and Ebony Bridges, it's come to my attention from Rico. Shannon Courtenay wasn't ranked in the top 15 with the WBA in February, and Bridges is ranked number 9, but they're fighting for a vacant world title. How can that be? According to the WBA rulebook, that isn't allowed. Now, is that just for men, or does it count for women as well? Because it doesn't state on the rules thing. So, or are they just making it up as they go along the WBA, or is the system flawed? What do you think, Simon?
I think we've seen quite a lot of recent episodes of the WBA sliding fighters into the rankings and mandatory and title spots, not just on the women's scene, but in the guys' scene as well. You look at Courtney's recent record. She had her famous storm off when she lost to Rachel Bull, and she's fought once since that and had a stoppage win, and now she fights Ebony Bridges, who in a most recent fight managed to get a win against a 46-year-old via decision. So the depth.
Who did?
Sorry,
Bridges.
Ebony Bridges fought. Her most recent fight was a opponent called Carol Earl, who is got a record of 3 wins, 4 losses, and is 40. She's in her 46th year. It doesn't. This fight, I mean, you'd expect Shannon Courtenay to win, but I mean, the actual depth of skill set in the women's scene is not good for this to happen, and for people not to be really calling it out and questioning it, because what event is it being put onto? It's on the Conor Benn card. Sorry, I've just got that up. Yeah, Conor Benn card. The good thing about that card is we see Savannah Marshall fight.
Yeah, but Savannah won't get as much attention as the other two, will she?
No, and that's unreasonable, because she is by far the best operator out of the names we've discussed.
When you look at that, Simon, Shannon Courtenay reminds me of Shirley out EastEnders. And the other one, Ebony Bridges, she should be on page 3, shouldn't she, with what she's packing? Do you know what I mean?
Well,
what's all that? What if she gets punched on one of them fake boobs of hers? Won't it explode or something? I don't know. How does it work?
Have you ever seen a school teacher get into their pants to go for a weigh-in?
No.
Pants and laundry? She's a school teacher by trade.
Ebony Bridges is a school teacher.
Yeah.
You are joking,
yeah.
Mate.
No.
So she's walking around in a thong and a bra like that. And well, I bet her school, I bet kids in her class, lads in her class, think she's cool. It's making
We
a
can
mockery of
talk.
sports, isn't it?
We can talk numbers with mathematics classes with Ebony Bridges.
Yeah, it's making a mockery of sport, and I'm not going to go into detail about this because I've mentioned this before, but their opponents' records added up are losing records, aren't they, on Ebony Bridges and Shannon Courtney? So, how are these girls getting world titles this early? You know, after a handful of fights, it's making a mockery of the sport and all those kids who are men who are, how can I explain it? Trying to get somewhere in boxing, the lads, you know, even Hearn fighters, Warren fighters, and they've got these women that are just coming over and hogging limelight. It's wrong, fundamentally wrong. And nobody's saying a word, nobody dares say. It's like if Eddie Hearn wants it to happen, it happens, and nobody questions him, do they? Have you noticed this lately? Nobody's questioning him, are they?
I think a lot of trainers, other promotional people and managers, they are scared of being frozen out if they question things and go against the Hearn grain anyway whatsoever. That they are living in fear of saying something or arranging a fight that's not approved by that particular stable or company.
Yeah. What do you think is the answer then with women's boxing? Obviously, there is good women's boxers out there: Jonas, Taylor, Marshall. But the rest of them, what's that? Chantel Cameron, she's all right, but the rest of them are just, it's awful, isn't it, to watch? Awful.
Yeah, you've got the obvious names for Savannah Marshall to fight, like Clarissa Shields, and then you've got other top girls that are being made a mockery of by this particular matchup. Because you take Natasha Jonas as an example. Well, she's obviously now got the Katie Taylor fight. She's had to work for this. She's had a very good amateur career. And well, both of those girls have, in fairness. You've got to give them both credit for their amateur career. And to see these particular two girls now going for a vacant belt is just a bit of a middle finger up to the likes of Jonas and Taylor, who've really put the graft and years into the sport. This is like a complete bypass. They're like going down the bus lane on the motorway to get to a world title.
How come Natasha Jonas has had to fight Terry Harper, but she drew with Jonas drew with Harper, and how come she's having to fight Taylor, but yet Harper's still got that belt, but she's not fighting Taylor? Does it look like Harper's being protected?
If Katie Taylor was matched with Terry Harper, I think we would see a stoppage there.
Yeah,
because there was a particular moment where Jonas caused Harper some big trouble in that fight. She caught her with two quick punches, and Terry Harper was falling forward, and she saved herself by the clinch. So she was then holding on in trouble, and it was maybe round about round 8 to 10. I can't quite remember which specific round it was, but she caught her with a couple of shots, beautiful shot, and then Harper was falling forward onto Jonas. She was in trouble there. I think the volume of punches that Harper would have to deal with from Katie Taylor would cause her trouble.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I believe that as well.
I think Jonas has got a good chance against Taylor.
Yeah,
but she's got to move and counter more, and use a bit of the Delphine Persoon type tactics. Is like Katie Taylor does not like it put on her and push backwards. So if Tasha Jonas can apply those sort of two main principles, is counter and move, but then also take some forward momentum and not get stuck receiving too many combinations off Katie Taylor, because she has got quick hands.
Yeah.
If you get inside and put it on her, I think she's vulnerable.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I want to ask you about Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo. Do you think it's going to happen? If it does happen, whose corner do you think Eddie Hearn's going to be supporting the most? I'm not going to say who's the B side and the A side because we know Canelo's A side, Billy's B side. But so I want to correct the people that have said that I shouldn't have said that. So I'll rephrase it. Who's Eddie going to treat as the A side and the B side? Because don't forget, Eddie's were with Billy before Canelo, wasn't he?
Agreed. Yeah, Eddie was with Billy beforehand. If you're looking at the trajectory of Billy Joe Saunders on the Matchroom part of his career, it has gone nowhere quickly. He's gone nowhere fast, and he's aging. I don't like the fact that he's still based in the Canary Islands right now.
Yeah.
Today's the 26th of March. The fight's supposed to be on May the 8th.
Yeah.
So if you're wanting to, we've discussed this part about preparation before on this particular fight. You've still got to get set up in the States and prepare properly in America. Make sure his accommodation, training camp is all set up, ready to go. Even down going and getting your food supplies and things like this. If he's not got the right people doing those jobs for him, and he's touching base in the States with only 2 weeks to go, then I will actually only, you're talking about a 90% margin towards Canelo, like 1 in 10 chance for Billy. I'd say that would go up to 95 if Billy leaves it as late as that with the preparation, because it's just not looking too good for him. We still haven't seen an actual contract signed. It's difficult to do press conferences, but it's not too difficult to do a Zoom call, is it?
No.
So I'm very skeptical about it. Your original question about Hearn, he is definitely playing the Canelo game more so these days. So he will give it the apples and pears to Billy about being his best mate.
Yeah.
And as soon as that Canelo hand gets raised by the judges, Billy will not be getting a second. It will be unlikely there'll be a rematch. And then it will be Canelo moving on to Caleb Plant or the Mexican fella at super middleweight. I've forgotten his name right now. Benavidez. Those will be the 2 fights that they're looking to arrange later on in this year, because I'll be surprised if Canelo signs another rematch clause after after the Golovkin type series.
What about Beta beef for Canelo? Do you think that'll happen?
No, I don't think Canelo is going anywhere near Beterbiev. Just don't think he wants. If you look at his fight record since Golovkin, he went in with Kovalev, and in fairness, Kovalev came off the back of a war with Yard. He was dominant in the fight, but he was nearly put out of his misery, Kovalev, in round 8. So he was back-to-back camped pretty much. And he boxed well against Canelo, but then he just crumbled really easily in the round of the stoppage. So I don't think Canelo will go chasing after Beterbiev or any other light heavyweight that can bang. I think super mid, he might pick a few more paydays at light heavyweight, but how long does he go on? He's had sort of 55 fights already.
Yeah. Okay, then moving on. If they do fight, what's your prediction if Canelo and Billy fight in Vegas? Or Dallas or Texas, wherever it is, what's your prediction for outcome?
Canelo unanimous decision. Right. By 5 or 6 minimum. Yes. I think Billy will not want to get stopped. I don't think he'll get on his bike.
112, is that what you're saying? 118, 112.
It could be as wide as that. You might have one judge that does it a little bit narrower, so it's not a total whitewash on the cards.
Yeah. Okay then. Moving on then. the other big fight, Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury. Tyson's into his 14-month out of the ring, but he made an announcement 4 months after beating Wilder that he wanted to thank Daniel Kinahan, because Dan's the man, for getting the 2-fight deal signed for Joshua. Now that we're into 10th month now since Tyson said that. Eddie Hearn's come out and he said that he's got an announcement to make. It's a 2-fight deal, but we heard that last June, and that they're going to be signing it in the next 30 days. But the word I'm hearing, and other people who are in the know, they're saying that it's not happening. What do you think about it? Or do you think they're just trying to drag it out and keep it relevant?
Yeah, we're now fully into the same territory as Mayweather Pacquiao. It's going to be the most dragged out narrative in boxing.
Yeah.
Since the Tyson Fury Wilder 2 fight, obvious attention was turned to Joshua.
Yeah.
We're not going to see that fight now until 2022. We got pandemic still going on. Where do they do it? The 2 British fighters are not going to fight in the States. For me, it would be crazy. The other options were rumored to be some of the Emirate type countries, Saudi, UAE, these type of locations. That the oil trade has been not as fruitful as it has been, so those places aren't throwing around the money as quite as what they were in the past. So it's going to be, for me, Tyson Fury needs maybe 1-2 fights before even going in with Joshua.
Yeah,
I can see that. I've always said Tyson Fury would win the fight, but I can see at the moment, the more Tyson Fury is inactive, the more Joshua gains margins, because of he will generally look after himself better when he's inactive. He will keep the training at a better level. He won't go overweight too heavily, and his lifestyle choices seem to be more connected to boxing. So there's no way that Fury would jump straight in with Joshua. There's all the talk about I could go straight in with any of these dossers straight away and things like that, but he's not going to risk getting done over by Joshua because he's not in shape. That's not going to happen.
What do you think to it coming out that, the video that Tyson put out jumping in the sea at Morecambe, and apparently it was months ago, but what do you think about him trying to blag it and make out it was recent? Do you think that were a typical Tyson, just taking mickey?
Well, I think we've seen a sort of another blag of recently when Tommy Fury fought, and someone put out some spoof ratings on Twitter, and then Tyson and BT Sport sort of piggybacked on the back of these, saying Tommy Fury had 1.7 million views and things like that. So
0.9, wasn't it?
Yeah, so it was a bit of silliness that got manipulated into poor context, really. So yeah, it's now we can't believe anything that's coming out from either of these camps. That's the problem with it for the fans. Is this particular fight? Yeah, it's going to be the biggest British fight ever, but it's also disengaging a lot of people within the sport now.
Yeah.
The people that want to see this happen, that are really connecting with boxing on a regular basis, we're getting turned off by this nonsense.
Yeah, 15 pints a day and all that, and not training. That's a big being. Yeah, it's the same old repeat, recycle, repeat, innit? And it's getting a bit boring now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a shame it's dragging out like this. I think what would be a better position is if both promotional companies said, right, our fighters need these fights, they need to get active. We've got a date booked next year, 2022, April, May is the first one. And then barring any big knockouts or anything in the first fight, if we need a rematch, then the rematch takes place in the autumn, winter of the same year. So then anything that goes on between that can affect it. So if Joshua or Tyson Fury lose to certain opponents, those people then get the fights. That's how the game should work.
Yeah. All right then. Moving on. DAZN and Eddie Hearn and Sky. What do you think is going to happen with all that lot? And where does it leave Frank Warren if Eddie jumps ship to DAZN? What'll happen with Frank with his stable and that? Because he's a bit lackluster in it at the moment. He's stable. It's Dubois and what's Daniel Anthony Yard. Where do you think that's going to leave Frank? Is Eddie just going to dominate and get a bit stronger and stronger with DAZN? Is Sky going to share the dates amongst the small guys? Where's that going to leave Frank? Because with Frampton at the moment not being on BT, Frank looks to me like he's on his way out, doesn't he? Do you think? Or something's not right, is it?
Well, I've got the schedule of all the major boxing events now from this weekend, which is the Povetkin White fight, and it runs all the way down to Ramirez Taylor at the end of May 22nd. So there is one event that's on BT Sport, and that is Herring v Frampton, but that is also ESPN.
Yeah.
And Sky and DAZN have got quite a few shared events between now and the end of May. So that Sky DAZN relationship, I'm not sure how it's working contractually and behind the scenes. But you've got to be questioning what Sky's intentions are with the sport, whether they are going to continue being the sort of major UK platform as they have been historically for the last, I guess you're looking at nearly about 30 years since Sky was set up.
Yeah, 31.
Yeah. So that would be a big step away from the boxing market if they choose to hand over a lot of cards to DAZN. But BT Sport aren't really taking the initiative with competing.
With Frank Stable, do you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, the stable itself. You've got Joe Joyce, who's not really BT Sport, is Sam Jones.
Yeah.
You've got Dubois, who's back on the recovery path with Mark Tibbs. You got Anthony Yard. It's still a big question on what he's doing. Is he still with Tunde?
He's not won a big title, Yard, has he?
So is he going to rematch Lyndon Arthur straight off the bat, or is he going to want to fight before he goes back in with Arthur?
Hard fight for him, that, isn't it, Lyndon Arthur, I think.
Well, I think because Lyndon Arthur did have hand problems, if his hand stays together in the fight, then that could be a wider margin. If Yard doesn't make the improvements to get inside and get Arthur in trouble, I think you could see a more dominant display second time around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Lyndon Arthur boxed a lot of that fight one-handed.
Yeah.
So based upon his jab and ability to box like that, I would say if he's coming in with the use of his right hand more, then my theory is that he might actually win by a bigger margin.
Yeah. What do you think about Willie Hutchinson, who's being trained by Flex Wheeler? Dominic Ingle, what do you think?
Well, he hasn't really fought anyone of note, has he? No. If we look at Willie's record, I mean, you've called it out for being a padded record previously, which is a fair assessment. So, I mean, he could get fast tracked towards a world title. So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at his record now. There is not one familiar name on that record for Willie Hutchinson that stands out. I mean, he's been the distance a few times, Hutchinson. He's been the distance 4 times out of 13. But for me, the people that the opponents that he's had, it's for his next fight is for the British and Commonwealth super middleweight titles.
Yeah. Okay then. What do you think about Sam Jones and Joe Joyce? Do you feel that Sam Jones is not really going out to bat for Joyce, because Joyce and Usyk don't seem to be fighting, do they? But yet the fight, Joshua Fury, is a unification, so it's supposed to supersede mandatories, isn't it? But that fight's not made. They keep saying it's made. It's not made. So why isn't Sam Jones saying to Joyce, listen, let's get in touch with WBO. Let's put pressure on them to free that belt of the Joshua's. But they're not doing that, are they? And Frank's, obviously with Joyce, he's got one fight left on his deal. And Frank's not rocking the boat either like that, is he? Because he's tied in with Tyson Fury or whatever, innit, for Joshua fight. So I feel that somebody needs to say, look, rules are rules. Without rules, there will be anarchy. I just think the WBO should be freed up. Because Fury and Joshua are not going to fight this year. And does that mean that Joshua gets a pass on fighting Usyk? Because Usyk beats Joshua all day long and twice on a Sunday, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think off the back of that, I think Usyk will win by a unanimous decision against Joshua. But in terms of the Joyce fight, there was a few Twitter exchanges going back a couple of weeks ago between the Usyk camp and the Joyce camp.
Oh God!
But we're not. It's not exactly a personality contest, that one, is it?
No, one can't speak English, and other one sounds like Frankenstein trying to string a sentence together. I don't know.
I want to see the fight because I think way Joe Joyce has gone about his business is he's actually got a credible record since turning over.
Yeah,
he's taken some good names.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
They've got it. Him and Usyk had a decent fight previously. It was a solid unanimous decision win for Usyk. Against Usyk, what we will get is, has Joe Joyce significantly improved since they fought back along in the amateur days and in that World Boxing Series?
Gone on slide.
Yeah, is he as good as he was 3 or 4 years ago, Usyk?
Yeah.
I think one of the key questions with Usyk is he as good at a heavyweight as he was at cruiserweight?
We're gonna wait. We'll have to see, aren't we?
I don't think we were going to get him turning into an Iceman at heavyweight and stopping many people. He's going to be a by decision fighter through his heavyweight days.
Yeah. Speaking of Iceman, Dave Allen's come out and said he's looking at coming back into boxing again if it's the right fight for him. Do you think he should stay away, or do you think he should hover around like a bad smell? What do you think?
Well, when did Dave Allen become an Iceman?
I know. I mean, I meant that basically. I were being sarcastic. Dave Allen is not an Iceman. He's funny though, but he's not an Iceman. He's brave. He's brave. Where do you see it all panning out if he comes back? And do you feel that his IFL interview yesterday, he came across bitter about the sport of boxing and that he didn't take the Dubois fight? Do you think he regrets that now?
I'm not sure how we can take that, because if he's saying he's got issues with the sport and things, how seriously did he take the sport?
I think you were more bothered about. I think you were more bothered about the fact that he were offered X amount to fight Dubois, knocked it back, and then Eddie Hearn offered him chicken feed to fight somebody else, and I think he didn't feel he were getting his worth, and I can sympathise with Dave Allen on that, because he's took some hard fights and had a lot of good irons, hasn't he? But it's an unforgiving sport. So if you want to be a crybaby, you're in the wrong sport, aren't you?
Is it a bit with Dave that he feel, does he get a bit unsettled with what people think on all these social media platforms and things like this?
When he lived at Backamy, he used to live in a flat at Backamy, where I parked my car at back. His flat backed onto it. In fact, David used to give me my spot, because I always had a couple of cars for sale on drive. Kids' mums were always on the street, and then I used to park I had another Mercedes, a silver, and I park it right back. And his spot, he let me use it, because he didn't drive. I always got the impression that when I'd come in late at night, and that his light were always on, and that he were on his social media up at night. And I don't think he led the boxer's life. But where we lived in that area, it's ideal to do your cardio, because you've got Conisbrough viaducts at back, and you can just, it's quite hilly. And I think he has done odd run up there and that, but he didn't strike me as somebody who did a lot of that, if you know what I mean. But it were all there on a plate for him, because when Dennis had him, train station at back, so you walk 100 metres at train station, get off at train at Dennis's and go on. It were on a plate for him to achieve, and me and Dennis have had loads of conversations about it, and saying, Dennis, he's got something, you just got to bring it out of him. But I never thought we really saw the best of David, because he can fight. I just think he might have just been a gym fighter and never did it on the night. Do you know what I mean? And then you've of course got taking risks to get money. You go in with fights, you're not going to win. So I don't think he were protected. And I think the people around him need to have a look at themselves. Michael Marsden, he's one of them that needs to have a good look at himself, and all the others. That's my opinion.
With Dave Allen, you can never question the guy's heart to get into the ring.
No,
he has been in with some of. If you look at the heavyweight division,
he's been in the Roadman Killers.
Tony Yoka, for starters. Oh, Luis Ortiz.
Yeah,
and even David Price can bang. There's no doubt about it.
There's 3 killers there.
We know Price has got his suspect when it comes to his defense and his chin, but the guy can bang still.
Yeah, there's killers there. Then you've got Dylan White. I won't say Dylan White's a killer. He's a pretend killer, isn't it? Anybody who wants it can't get it. Maximum cuddling. You know what I mean? Maximum violence. I just think that it's David Allen's career. He's coming out now doing these interviews, and he comes across as bitter, but he made his own mistakes. He made his bed and he'll lie in it. And I told him for years, look, Eddie Hearn is not your mate. Bayloric TV came to my house, right, and we were filming. We left my house. Dave were in back. Ingram were in front. I had a Mazda, 4-door Mazda Sports. We were driving through Ellaby to go into Dennis's. And Ingram were filming me, and he turned camera to get Dave Allen in camera. And Dave Allen jumped under the seat, basically, because he didn't want to be seen on Ingram's channel with me and him, because they were trying to get him with Eddie Hearn. I could tell you loads of stories like that. And I can see where he's coming from, because I'm controversial and Ingram's being controversial. But David was his own worst enemy. And I kept saying to him, look, Eddie Hearn's not your mate. Once we were in a restaurant, there were me, him and Razor. He's having fish and chips and I had a gastric band. So I had a bottle of Oasis, this drink, that black currant drink. And Dennis took a picture of me and Dave. And Dave, just before Dennis pressed it, Dave pushed the fish and chips and it nearly went off at the table. So what you do that for? Pushed it over to my side. He goes, well, I don't want Eddie Hearn saying that I'm eating fish and chips. I'm supposed to be in camp. I shouldn't be eating this stuff. He didn't want it going out there. That's how switched on he is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No. But he's his own worst enemy. The predicament he's in, he took advice off Eddie Hearn. Frank Warren's offered me this to fight Dubois. I'll tell him you want double or whatever it were, another 100 odd grand with it. And Frank called his bluffs, and he said, I've decided I want to stay loyal to Eddie Hearn. Well, Eddie didn't stay loyal to him, did he? When he offered him chicken feed after Lovejoy fight collapsed, and then Dave just quit, didn't he? And like went out with a whimper. But he'll be back if for the right offer. But I think that boat sailed now after all that retirement stuff and brain this and blurred vision that and slurred this. I think he dug his head in an hole, and the more he tried to play the social media game, I think the bigger the hole got. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. I know David better than all of them who have an opinion on him. I know him better than what Eddie Hearn thinks. And I think it's a shame that they've done that to a young kid, put him in with autism and that, and his tongue were going like that, you know. But he's brought it on himself and the people around him, like Mick Marsden. He's had 12 trainers on over years, on and off. They all need to look at themselves, all of them. All of them. Because they all took the cut, didn't they, while they were with him, apart from Jamie Moore. He never got paid, did he? Because they didn't have a fight, did they? But you know where I'm coming from, don't you? They've all had the piece of him. And where's his pot of gold? Who's looking out for Dave Allen? Because Matchroom aren't, are they? Where's his Sky job they promised him? I don't see him on Sky. What's going on here? He's in Wilderness, isn't he? That's why he's been sparring Gorman this week, because he's probably thinking, and I know how he thinks, oh, if I could just get a few more quid and do this and that. Once you've had that taste, you get a taste. I've had a taste for it. I don't know. What do you think?
I think going off the back of what you said about the taste of money and boxing, whether you've had a pro fight, amateur fight, white collar, it is a very, very addictive sensation getting in the ring. The adrenaline that you get from that level of full contact fighting is addictive. Getting paid to do it is even better.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is you're then blinkered on the actual physical consequences and the mental consequences of overindulging in the game. And is his rewards going to be worth that in the long game? Do you see what I mean? He might need a few quid now, but could he pull himself away from the sport and focus his energy on something more productive to earn himself a few quid and live that way? Do you see what I mean?
He's never had a job in his life, so he's not going to start now, is he?
Well, that's it. The routine of his lifestyle is the question. It's not so much boxing.
Social media made him, but it destroyed him in the end, didn't it?
Well, yeah, because we're in a vain time with the social media platforms and things where people think they can make money out of it, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, all these different platforms. In reality, there's only a handful of percentage of these platforms that do make any serious money out of it.
Correct.
I think we did a video back along before when I started recording with you, when we did the bubble video, and it was noticed how he was going on in the bubble, and he was walking around in his dressing gown and stuff, and certain other people in boxing were taking the mick out of Dave. David A was taking the mick, something chronic out of him, and you can just see, if that's David Hayes' view on Dave Allen, that is going to be a lot of the other players in the boxing industry that have got access to the bigger platforms and angles like that. So if David Hayes like that, a lot of other people are going to be like that with Dave Allen, not to his face, but behind the scenes, and they won't be looking after his affair.
Boxing's the most unforgiving sport in the world, but what he should remember is, when Dennis turned around to him and said, right, your job is to train. If you can't come up here, David, and train, don't forget it, you're wasting my time. Dennis got rid of him. He were undefeated after 7 fights with Dennis. They were paying him a wage every week. Got rid of him. That was it. And the penny didn't sink then. That you've got talent, but you've got to put the graft in. He had more talent than Clinton Woods, but Clinton Woods grafted to get where he did, and he won everything at every level. So I feel for David in a way, because I know he wants to come back now because he's got no else. What else is he going to do? But I don't think he's going to come back and get that David Price money again or Dubois money he were offered. I think he's way below pecking order, isn't he?
Yeah, those tickets have gone now. That they've been pulled off the table. It's well, where does he go from this if he does come back?
He's going to have to wait it out, and he hope the landscape changes. Then it'll be could have been a runner being coming back. But I think he should leave it and go and get a job and find out about himself in the real world, because this big media thing that we're going to do, yeah, hasn't happened for him, has it? Well, I'm going over to media. It's not happened. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, there's nothing wrong with him going out and getting a job in the non-boxing world. That might be a good move for him, and just try and tie down that routine and stay away from the likes of these promoters that will feed him to someone up and coming and giving another shellacking on the way through.
Yeah. All right then. We'll move on then from the adventures of Tintin. Lawrence Okolie. What do you think, Simon? Were you cheering for him?
I didn't watch it live because I was adamant that he was winning that fight easy. Personally, I think Lawrence Okolie can now be the first British undisputed cruiserweight. Looking at the other champions in the mix, Bradis and Makabu are the two major ones out there. I think Lawrence Okolie has now got to think about a 3-fight plan at cruiserweight to clean up the division and then get to heavyweight. I think he boxed very well. He boxed well within his skill set. He wasn't seriously under pressure. The improvements everyone's going on about weren't as severe as everyone's now running around saying about Shane McGuigan being this doing this massive overhaul with Lawrence Okolie. But you've covered this with Terry and other videos during the course of the week, so I won't dig too deep on the technical side of Okolie, but anything from his hugfest before is an improvement. Do you see what I mean? There's been arguable cases for Okolie to be disqualified in some of his previous outings for the constant clinching and holding. So for him to actually now fight to his skills and deliver a performance is what he should be doing anyway, regardless of Shane McGuigan or not. So there's been a few tweaks there for him to deliver to his skill set. But for Shane McGuigan to get all this major praise is a bit over-exaggerated right now. The yardstick will be, can Shane McGuigan guide through Okolie to clean out the division and get some heavyweight wins under his belt? That would be the true assessment of Okolie for me.
Did Okolie win the European before he got with Shane?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's had the one fight with Shane McGuigan prior to this.
Yeah.
Let me just double check. I don't want to put any bloopers out there.
Any bloopers? If you did, Chris Ward would spot it, and Joe Wall.
I think it was not his previous fight, but the one before, which was against Nagabu, European Cruiserweight title.
Yeah.
He has. Sorry, go back.
What I was going to say, what did you think to Lawrence Okolie's rap song about pussy and a spliff and chilling with Arabs and carrots and all that? It was, oh, is he Bugs Bunny? I'm wearing carrots or something. Chilling with Arabs, wearing carrots, pussy in a spliff. What were all that about? Is his head gone or something? Has he been smoking much of that marijuana?
I think we summed up what sort of rap music people should be looking for at the beginning of our chat tonight regarding regarding that legacy. Those sort of big influential figures in the hip hop game and stuff. If they've seen that sort of stuff, it wouldn't be too impressive. It's not my cup of tea.
Now, could you imagine Dr. Dre and Tupac and Snoop Doggy Dogg and Biggie looking at people like Lawrence Okola? They'd be like, Lawrence, what are you doing, mate? Don't give up the day job.
Yeah, I mean, you had in the era we're talking about in the 90s, where they had to get exposure through MTV and channels like that. That would never got past quality control to be put out on a TV channel.
Lawrence only got that song out because he's in with Joshua and them, and otherwise it wouldn't have even been out, would it?
When do we get Joshua spitting a few bars then? When's his song coming out?
You know, who wants to listen to that big donkey?
Are you
Well,
are you now joining the Okolie train then?
I think jury's out on Okolie because the guy were in his he was out, what, 36, the guy, and had it ring 2 year.
Yeah, that's fair. That he's nearly Golowacki was out for nearly 2 years before that fight.
So how can we all of a sudden come out with Lawrence Okolie as a roadman killer when that was his best win? So you know what I mean? So I think the jury's still out, but he impressed me, and I like his humbleness. I like how he comes across. But at the end of the day, putting that gold grill on his mouth. I mean, what on earth for that? He was putting gold grill in just to go out. To leave the house, he put the grill in his mouth. I mean, that for me, he did it. And I don't know what he's got going on in his head, but Lawrence, I'm going to ask you this. What has you been smoking?
So you would say that you're not fully embraced by the Okolie plus tentacles just yet then?
I think he's the type of kid that you could have a conversation with and he comes across as a nice person, and I like that. But I'm the hype train. I'm not on the hype train yet. If he beats Bradis, I'll be getting on the train. The night train.
Wouldn't it be nice for Tony Bellew and David Haye for him to be undisputed?
Yeah, it would, yeah.
That would be a beautiful, beautiful moment in the world of British boxing.
What do you think about Tony Bellew coming back? If he does, do you think he will keep dropping hints, doesn't he?
He's never going to disappear, is he?
No, the disappearing man.
He's now trying to justify it that there was demand for him to set up this fans only platform.
My God, fans only.
I mean, has Tony Bellew got that big a fan base to even warrant it?
No, he hasn't. He's got ideas about his station. What's happening with Gavin McDonnell?
Isn't he with Steffi Bull?
Yeah, he's supposed to be out soon. Is he still fighting in Spain?
Let's have a quick look to see if he's got anything confirmed.
Big Twinny Gav.
Are they both on the comeback trail?
No, I think it's just Gavin. Although I've heard Jamie's doing a bit of training, but I don't know. I've just heard it's Gavin. I just wondered what you thought about it. Is he fighting European title?
He's eyeing up a third world title shot to make his sons proud. He's making his ring. This was published a few days back. Your local press website, Doncaster Free Press.
Oh, who did the story?
It just says by sports reporter, so they're too ashamed to put their name on it.
Yeah. There's only one guy there, but yeah, go on. What's he saying?
Yeah, it's saying he's fighting on a matchroom event in Barcelona. No opponent named.
No opponent named, and when?
Oh no, sorry. No, take that back. He's fighting Andoni Gargo, who's got a 24-3 record.
When's he fighting? April
23rd. So that his opponent's only got 7 KOs.
So basically, it's 4 weeks tonight then.
Yeah.
The big Twinny Gav comeback 4 weeks tonight.
So it is on a matchroom card, but I don't know if he's a matchroom fighter anymore, though.
Yeah.
So who's managing him? Is it all Steffi Bull type?
I think Steffi
type arrangement.
To be honest with you, Steffi's guided him all right. To be fair, he's gone out to bat for him. Gavin, I think so. Anyway. I'm not going to tell Steffi that I don't like him, but I think Steffi's got done well for Gavin, because he's a very, very limited fighter. But I think his legs have gone now, and Jamie's, and they'll start, and the punch resistance and all that. You know what I mean? They've abused themselves over years, haven't they? And I think it's all caught up with them.
They've got a bit of a reputation for enjoying the party lifestyle when they're not training.
Yeah, they have got. Well, the Doncaster lads, aren't they? What do you expect? That's how we do it in Doncaster, mate. There's none of that. Only do it on Boxing Day and Easter Monday. No, there's not none of that in Doncaster. It's Thursday to Sunday, mate. Let's finish off on the Floyd Mayweather, Logan Paul pay-per-view. What do you think? They reckon they're going to get millions, don't they, off it?
Is that happening?
Apparently, it's happening. It's happening. Yeah, apparently.
Because one wasn't it deferred? I mean, I'm still not sure why Floyd's still getting in the ring. What does Floyd need to do in boxing? Any YouTubers and things like that?
He just wants to say he's an entertainer and get paid for it, Floyd. He doesn't care about anything now. He's done with boxing. He just wants paying, doesn't he?
But are we misled with Floyd's lifestyle? Has he got as much money as he makes out he has?
He's a massive gambler, mate. I know somebody that knows him. He's a massive gambler. Massive.
So has he lost a lot of money gambling?
No, I can't say that because I might say
Yeah.
the wrong thing, but I know somebody that knows him, and apparently he's a massive, massive gambler, massive, huge bets, and he gets £1 million every month, doesn't he, from whatever he's got invested, but he does it in as well.
Yeah, again, I think we've got the other Paul fighter fighting that Ben Askren, the ex-MMA fighter. I mean, the best thing on that card is Regis Prograis fight, and that'll be worth watching because I like what I've seen from Prograis. I think the Taylor fight was closer than people think.
Yeah, I do.
And I think there's call after Taylor's fought Ramirez. I think there should be a call for rematch with Prograis.
Yeah.
If Taylor wins that fight, I think we should see Taylor Prograis Part 2.
Yeah.
Because that was not a clear unanimous win for Josh Taylor. I do like Josh Taylor. I think he's probably going to be the favourite going against Ramirez.
Yeah.
But his inactivity could be a problem. And we don't really know how much influence the current training relationship's going to have on that fight. What's Ben Davison adding to the Josh Taylor repertoire?
Yeah, I want to ask you about Ben Davison. Do you feel that a lot of these trainers are now exerting themselves into positions of power to get themselves out there on certain YouTube channels, but yeah, they're not deserving of the fighters they're getting dumped on the lap?
Well, if we see a parting of company, for example, Josh Taylor moving on from Ben Davison, he would have arguably lost Britain's 3 most gifted fighters in his reign as a trainer.
Yeah,
so he'd have lost Tyson Fury, Billy Joe Saunders, and Josh Taylor.
They're all left.
So I think the 2 main sort of trainers that we can name for giving their video expertise and things constantly is him and Dave Caldwell.
Yeah,
we're getting those 2 particular trainers on the different platforms.
You think that they've blagged it, them 2, though?
I think that the jury's definitely both out on them. I'm not. I'd like to see Ben Davison actually roll with some fighters and prove medium long term on what they can do together. I think we got more evidence with Dave Caldwell that there has been more fighters gifted to him who are a lot more experienced, and then he's dabbled with them. They've moved on again, and so this
is how I look. Davey Price got knocked out on Dave Caldwell's shift. Dylan White did. Tony Bellew did. Uh, how many more? I mean, you know. So I'm starting to wonder if the Dave Caldwell bubble has burst. Dave, has your bubble burst? If not, I hope it does. I don't like you. I was trying to be honest. I don't like sneaky people. But
I got I
hey,
got a couple more points
well then,
before we finish, right? So that's okay.
that's okay.
I've seen advertised that Amir Khan has done a reality TV show,
Yeah.
Meet the Khans. I'm not keen on that, but I don't want to go into the reality show. It's more triggered off. A bit of a view on Amir Khan. Is Amir Khan's career not given enough credit by the British audience?
Yeah, it is. Beat is it 10 or 11 wins of a world champion? He's got a fantastic career, Olympic silver, and he gets brushed away, doesn't he? Because he's not team matchroom. That's what I think. I think he should be. I think he should be praised for what he's done, but I also think that he messed Eddie Earn about with that last time they worked together for that whatever year or 18 months. And I think Eddie washed his hands of him. That's what I think. I mean, look at Kell Brook Khan. How could the balls that up between them all?
Wow, so that's an amazing cock up of not making a fight for a generation of fighters and fans that's an easy domestic rivalry to set up. Lancashire v Yorkshire, all the sort of the two big northern territories of England, and then you've got one that was has got the Olympic hero, the amateur pedigree. Both, I mean, Kell Brook, he did well until he got flogged by Golovkin and Spence Jr. And he had some questionable defenses.
Yeah.
But like when he fought Porter and things like that, he had some good days, Kell Brook. But yeah, he was flogged badly in his in those fights that I've just mentioned.
He's only lost a pound for pound, guys, though, Brook, can he really?
He has. He should have never fought Golovkin. That was a shocker.
Look at him. It sunk him in it. It sunk him that.
After getting his face broken, his eye socket, and then it was done again. Two eye socket breaks. That's not going to do your confidence any favors going forward at all.
No. So, okay. Well, thank you for coming on, Simon. We've had a good hour. We've had an hour.
Yeah, man.
Always good to catch up with you. I don't know whether to put this out now and let them have a treat, and it's an up to date one. Then it won't get any jazzing up, any intros and that. Are you bothered about that?
No, it's all right.
I'll put it out there. It saves me getting an invoice for intro and ending. I'm trying to keep it down because it's coming to end that month. We're at 26, aren't we? And I'm already over budget. I only have so much to play with before I end up having to sort things myself. But wait, thank you very much for coming on. I hope you're all right. You've got your girlfriend. You saw your wife's having a baby, ain't she? Next 6 weeks, is it?
Yeah, we're due end of April, beginning of May, so it's all coming in.
I don't know what it is though, do you, Simon?
We do, but no one else does.
Keep it to yourself then. Well,
yeah.
It was all right. We're all right for a catch up next weekend, yeah?
Yeah, that'll be good.
It'll be good. All right then. Well, listen, you have a great evening. Thank you for coming on. I'll get this out tonight, and then I'm gonna Coco and because I've been up since 6. But I didn't want to let you down tonight. I was gonna cancel. I thought now because I texted you, and I thought, are we all right? And I'm hoping you were gonna go. I'm going out on piss with my mates. And I thought, now let's get it done. So I have been not as lively in this today, but you know what? I had that Oxford jab. Have you read about it? It's called the Oxford vaccine. I reckon that's the worst one out of the two. And I felt it in car on way back. My dad kept saying, are you all right? I kept saying, I feel terrible. I don't feel 100%.
Yeah, take it easy, mate. I mean, I haven't had it, so I don't know what it's like just yet.
You're not 50 yet, are you?
No.
So you've got a few years to be there. But no, I'll be all right. But listen, thanks for coming on, and I wish you all the best. You take care.
Yep. Cheers, mate. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Fine battery now. Have a look. Mouse. Can't even turn the computer off. I'm not very tech-minded, am I, me? I'm afraid. See if this does it. I'll put it in the wrong way. There we go. I'm like an Englishman in New York, aren't I? or a Yorkshireman lost in London. So, all right then. Well, we'll get this out tonight then, and it says putting it out after the Dylan White show, and then you members, lads, just need a weapon of the week, and then I'm going to give you Elmer a day before everybody else. How's about that? So, all right. So, peace out. Keep on trucking. Keep supporting boxing. God, I feel crap, me. I feel terrible. I get this out tonight, and I'm going to go Zonko. Big shout out to my pal Frank Smith from Bury and Rami. And thank everybody from the bottom of my heart who is a member on this channel, because you're all going to be part of something, because trust me, we're going to do something really good with this channel. So, and a lot more of you need to start and email me, porkycorner@mail.com, and start coming on the channel. Or tell your mates to come on. Let's just spread the boxing love. All right? Isn't that right, Rico? Peace out.